One hacked command twists the world off balance. Within seconds, 3 nations, with thousands of weapons on standby, move on orders they were never meant to receive. A single mistake almost triggered World War III. What is unfolding in the next few minutes? It feels so precise, so frighteningly possible that you can only hope this entire sequence exists only inside a fictional world. A what-if universe, the kind where humanity prays the events stay trapped on a page, never crossing into reality. Because if even one moment of this night ever became real, how long could the world stay standing? The night begins like any other. Satellites drifting above silent oceans, radar stations humming through routine sweeps, officers sipping half-warm coffee in rooms where nothing dramatic is supposed to happen. Then the first flicker hits, a radar anomaly in Alaska, a heat signature with no source, rising like a ghost from cold air. The operator blinks twice, taps the display, assumes it's lag, but the glitch returns, sharper, brighter, intentional. 5,000 miles away, in Russia's far east, another ghost emerges, this time on a geostationary early warning feed. It hovers in the visual field like a perfectly shaped pixel, too clean, too symmetrical, too engineered. China notices the third, not a blip, a command. A guided missile destroyer receives an automated message that should never route without manual confirmation. Stand by for potential hostile launch. The captain feels something tighten in his chest. In warships, fear doesn't come from explosions. It comes from certainty that something is wrong, but nothing is visible. None of the 3 nations knows the others have seen the same impossible signal. None knows they are being nudged toward the same conclusion. None knows the world is stepping into a storm designed by a mind no radar can detect. At 0217 UTC, the second stage unfolds. The hacked code spreads silently through encrypted channels. It jumps firewalls built to stop entire nations. It mimics trusted systems with terrifying perfection. NORAD interprets the signal as a cruise missile test. Russia interprets it as a stealth strike formation. China interprets it as an unannounced Pacific launch. 3 superpowers. 3 interpretations, 1 manufactured lie. Inside Washington's command center, the atmosphere shifts. Screens brighten, operators sit straighter. Someone whispers, "Is this live?" Pilots are quietly pulled into strategic bombers. Orders are short, clipped, without explanation. The kind used only when the truth is unclear and time is thinner than trust. In Moscow, underground corridors shake as submarine communication lines activate. Encrypted codes flash across screens, verified, matching, impossibly timed. These codes are not supposed to appear unless a nation believes a strike may be seconds away. Far below the Pacific, a Jin-class ballistic missile submarine rotates to an attack posture. No drill, no warning, just silent acceptance that the homeland sees something it cannot ignore. This is where the fear truly begins, not in the ghost signals, not in the strange commands, but in the realization that every superpower is now reacting defensively, and their defensive actions look aggressive to each other. The hacker's plan is perfect, chaos without firing a shot. And as the minutes pass, commanders across the world find themselves staring at screens filled with movement. Jets launching into the night, submarines shifting underwater, radar signatures crowding global maps, all reacting to shadows that were never real. Shadows designed by a single hidden hand, a hand the world will not discover until it's too late. And so the night deepens, and the world steps toward a war built entirely from fiction, a fiction that, terrifyingly, feels real enough to kill. The next phase begins at 0229 UTC, the moment every nation crosses a silent line they cannot retreat from. In Washington, analysts attempt to cross-check satellite feeds, but the images loop, then freeze, then distort. Someone mutters, "This isn't a malfunction. Someone's inside." No one answers. No one dares confirm it. The president is rushed into the situation room. The briefing is chaotic.
conflicting radar tracks, frozen satellite feeds, and possible strike indicators pointing simultaneously to Russia and China. It makes no sense, which is exactly the point. Fear begins to do what the hacker cannot. In Moscow, Russia's strategic rocket forces receive a communication burst duplicated from an American code structure, a perfect imitation. It appears to confirm that US submarines have shifted into first strike positioning. No Russian general can ignore such a signal, nor can China ignore what comes next. A hacked US Pacific Fleet data stream suddenly shows Chinese missile patterns that don't exist, a fabricated image of warheads mobilizing inland. The Chinese Central Military Commission freezes. The data looks too real to dismiss. Three nations now believe the others are preparing to strike first. War becomes not a choice, but something that seems logically unavoidable. China launches combat air patrols over the South China Sea. American satellites, still partially jammed, interpret the movement as a launch preparation. Russia sees both sides mobilizing and begins raising readiness across its eastern bases. What started as a glitch has now escalated into a global logic trap. Every action becomes evidence. Every movement becomes confirmation. Every silence becomes threat. And deep in some forgotten corner of the world, the hacker watches the fear grow, not with joy, but with precision. This is not chaos for thrill. This is chaos built with purpose. Because the next phase is not digital, it's physical. At 0241 UTC, China's destroyer, the one that received the original false alert, activates missile-ready protocol, not to fire, but to defend. But the heat bloom from this system looks incredibly similar to an offensive ignition. NORAD sees it, flags it, amplifies it. Panic rises. Russia's Pacific Air Defense Grid sees the same bloom, but interprets it as a US naval launch attempt being masked by Chinese movement. Both nations reach the same conclusion. America is preparing something. America reaches the opposite conclusion. China and Russia are coordinating something. The world is trapped inside three mirrors, reflecting fear at each other. In military command rooms, officers look at screens filled with lies that feel like truth. And the most dangerous question of the night finally emerges. What if the first strike has already begun and we're too late to respond? This question is the enemy. This question is the spark. Thousands of missiles, ballistic, cruise, anti-ship, shift from standby to ready. Submarines lock targeting solutions. Fighters circle in silent formations, weapons armed. The world is now one decision away from ending itself over a signal that never existed.
At 0253 UTC, the final phase activates. The hacker pushes a single forged data packet into the global monitoring network, a fake infrared bloom identical to a submarine-launched ballistic missile. It appears simultaneously on US early warning satellites, Russia's 𝐓𝐿 system, and China's Fengyun grid. The world sees a phantom missile rise from the sea, and that is the moment nations stop thinking rationally. In Washington, NORAD reports, possible SLBM launch detected, origin unknown. Unknown is the most dangerous word in nuclear vocabulary. In Moscow, generals shout over one another as screens flare red. If the missile is American, Russia has seconds to confirm. If it is Chinese, Russia has even less time. In Beijing, the command council stares at a trajectory they cannot verify. For a terrifying minute, all three nations genuinely believe the other two may have launched. A single minute, holding the weight of history. Inside a US submarine far below the Pacific, a sonar officer hears something he has never heard before. Three major powers broadcasting emergency encrypted messages at once. That only happens when someone believes the world is ending. And then, the impossible blessing. A junior satellite technician in Colorado notices something tiny. The heat bloom's shape is too symmetrical, not natural, not ocean distorted, computer generated. He reports it. His supervisor hesitates. then checks extensively. 2 minutes pass, the most dangerous 2 minutes in human history. Finally, the truth snaps into focus. There is no missile, no launch. The world is looking at a fake. The message races through global channels. False alarm, stand down. Stand down immediately. In Moscow, freeze. In Beijing, breath returns. In Washington, shoulders collapse in relief and terror. Across oceans, submarines halt their firing sequences. Fighters disengage. Missile crews sit back in their chairs, shaking. The world steps back from the edge, not because of strategy, not because of diplomacy, but because one person noticed a pixel out of place. Humanity survives by accident. Later, analysts will argue for years whether this night could ever happen, whether a single hack could twist 3 superpowers into nearly launching the end of civilization. And the answer, whispered in the halls of every intelligence agency, will always be the same. It didn't happen tonight, but it could, because the most fragile part of global security is not weapons, not armies, not borders. It's trust in the systems that connect them. Trust that can be broken with just one mistake. The world stepped back from destruction, but barely. A single forged signal nearly rewrote history. If one line of code can push 3 superpowers to the edge, how many mistakes still hide in the systems we trust? And what happens the day one goes unnoticed?